I'm here with Steve Saunders, and this is however many time we're trying to record this. I can't believe how much bad luck it is.
I don't know if it's just me, mate. I'm starting to get a complex about the whole thing. Seems to be working for everyone else, but mate.
Tell us a little bit about who Steve Saunders is.
I'd like to think I'm an easygoing kind of person, but people might say I'm different. I like to wear my heart on my sleeve and give back to the fans as much as I can.
I believe you're correct in that, because I actually know who you are, so I know when you're lying and when you're not, and the whole lying thing really doesn't happen, except when you're hurt and then you tell me you're fine. But tell me a little bit about growing up. Did you grow up racing bikes or playing sports, or what was your deal growing up?
No, when I was about, I'd say 7, 8 years old, I wanted to do BMX. But looked into it, and I went to a couple of things and actually got bored of doing it. And then I wanted to do motocross, and my dad said, "Oh, if you want to do motocross, you've got to do BMX." I'm like, "No, I didn't like BMX, it's boring." So, and then I started to play rugby league for the school when I was in, I think, year 5 or 6, started playing rugby league for the school. And then it just eventuated from there. And, I had a couple of trials for Penrith, West Tigers, Manly and Canberra, but never really eventuated because I was either, too small or, pretty much I was too small at the time for my age and everything. So, it is what it is. And unfortunately, one of the trials that I had, I went in for a tackle, had about 150 kilos fall on my head, broke my jaw and had a seizure on the field.
From there, you got into sidecars how?
Yeah, well, growing up watching my dad do it, and then my sister got involved, and my dad always nagging me, "Oh, come on, just jump on the back and have a go." And in the end, I just got sick of him nagging us. Right, I'll get on to shut you up so you get off me back. And then, I wasn't expecting to enjoy it, and I ended up enjoying it a lot. And then I was a passenger for about 2 or 3 years, I'd say, and then jumped on the bars myself.
Isn't it funny how a lot of passengers start off in Speedway as passengers, and then they learn a lot about the bikes, whatever, and then they go to the handlebars and they make excellent riders?
Really, the only reason I went for the handlebars is went to a local truck out at Penrith called Nepean Raceway. It was just a practice day, and one of the other guys took their spare bike out, and they come up and said, "Oh, do you want to have a go?" I'm like, "Yeah, righto then, I'll jump on and have a go." Never ridden one before, never ridden a motorbike before, and went out for a couple of practice laps, and my sister come in and said to me, "Dad, he's an idiot, doesn't know what he's doing, don't put me on the bike with him again." And then look where we are today.
And it's interesting that, people try and maintain a persona in public or whatever it is. And here we are, just a couple of guys chatting about your life and how it relates to sidecars. But you've been competing for a long time. At what point did you take that next step up from like a club rider to making the state level and then to across Australia?
I'd say everything probably clicked into place around 2016. So what's that? 5 years ago? 5 years ago now, yeah. So everything sort of clicked into place there, and then it's just sort of grown from there. And the last 4 years, we finished in the top 8 in New South Wales the last 4 years in a row. And I think 2 or 3 years ago, we come 6th in Victoria.
Wow, and they're no small feats, because in your state you've got the whole Bond family. There's about 35,000 of them racing sidecars, and there's no slouches there, so they aren't just given results. You've had to actually compete for them. your team and that, it is your sister as the passenger, your dad, Mick, on the tools, Phil McCurtain, people like that. It all seems to gel pretty well.
Yeah, it took us a while to get there. A few arguments in the pits and at home in the garage. But, you know, at the end of the day, Dad puts his input in, I put my input, Phil puts his input, and my sister puts her input. And, you know, there's also a guy in the background that helps out if when my sister had work or she was playing footy herself, he's out of both of them. He's jumped on and helped me out a couple of times. And me and Adam actually won, you know, me and Adam are going to claim it, but it wasn't really classified as one, but an Australian long track title a couple of years ago.
A win's a win, no matter how you slice it. It's all, you know, things that describe certain ways or whatever, but that's fine. So over the years, you've really presented well on and off the track, and lots of different paint jobs here or there and teams and that. And I think it's so cool. So what brings all that about?
Oh, that's probably my dad, actually, because he's meticulous about everything he does. And when he was racing, you know, he always liked to have the, you know, nice looking gear. And, you know, I've probably taken note of the V8 supercar teams and the sprint car teams and the drag racing teams as well, because, you know, I've grown up around drag racing and all that as well. So just taking a leaf out of their book, and, you know, you present well, look well, go well, and the fans want to follow you. So it's been good.
I believe you're right. And personally, I'm a painter and all that sort of thing, so I'm all for the paint jobs and all that. But I just think it forces the guy next to you in the pits to level up, and then the next guy, and the next, and the next. And it just seems to follow on.
Yeah, that's true. Pretty much Darren Trelaw started it back in the day, you know, with his presentation, and it's sort of everyone just sort of followed suit. And if you have a look at some of the teams now, you got Brody Colin, who his bikes always look awesome. Mark Placid always looks awesome. Mickey Headland, Darren. Who else is there? Hamish Golding as well, always presents very well. And Pitty, Jack Summerling. The Bonds always, you know, present well as well. You know, and there's obviously a couple more guys like down Victoria way and over Adelaide way, but, you know, I don't want to sit here and name everyone. So.
No, it's fine to give examples, and we're not robots. We don't remember names off the top of our head here or there, and, you know, they call those people savants, so that's fine. But what sort of commitment is it to run things like the Grand Slam when that was running, or to commit to do a North Queensland run?
Well, when the Grand Slam was running, I sort of nominated for every single one, but back in that day when it was on, didn't really have the name I have now, wasn't really getting the results I am now, so I might have just got a couple of local ones. But, you know, I got to do Gilman a couple of times through there, travelled over to Alice Springs to do a round over there, I've travelled to Murray Bridge to do a round there. So, you know, that was a very big learning curve for me, because I only ever raced in like New South Wales and that. But travelling interstate really opened my eyes. I went, damn, I've got to step it up here. I've got to, you know, start listening to the people around me, and I'll be able to get better results. And it's sort of just turned to what it is today, listening to people.
That's an important thing to touch on, is as men we have pride and egos and that, and it's very hard sometimes when you're trying and fight and whatever to try and get what you're getting to happen, and it's not, and then you do the miles against people that are a lot better and doing things a little bit differently, you take something away from that. And I believe once the ego's gone, then you're ready. You're ready to take the next step.
Yeah, that was my problem. I had to swallow the ego because, just racing in New South Wales, I was getting, okay results here. But then once I started travelling to South Australia and all that, I was pretty much a never nobody up the back, a wobbler. So,
and that's really good that you admit that, because that's how you get better and you build on that. So you've also gone to New Zealand, is that correct?
Yes, went over New Zealand in 2017 with the East Coast Sidecar Roundup that Jeff Garnham and Paul Slade put together, and took 8 of us over there. And yeah, that was a very quick learning curve as well. Racing on tracks I've never raced on before or even seen before. About 4 weeks out of leaving, my sister got injured. So I had to quickly find a passenger at the time, and found a passenger over in New Zealand named Chris Chatfield, who is now current New Zealand number 3 as of last weekend with Paul Humphreys. But yeah, had to learn quickly how to adapt to
that's the only way you're going to get better, is sort of trial by fire, and you've built on that to now. So what are some of the tracks that really suit you? Are they bigger tracks, or are they the style where they get slick, or what tracks do you prefer?
I prefer the bigger tracks, and a lot of people that know me know that I prefer the bigger tracks as well. I'll admit I struggle on the little tracks, but that's just more me, because I'm probably more like riding the big tracks. I'll try and steer clear of the little ones, but in the end, that's not going to help me. So I've got to, with the new bike that I've got coming, I'm going to concentrate on the little tracks to get them dialed in. So when it comes time to either travel into Mildura, which is a tight little track, I'll be able to go there and be all right. Curry, which is a tight little track, and not sure how big or what the WA track is, but I've only seen it on video, so I'm not sure if it's small and tight or wide. But yeah, I'll admit I've got to concentrate on the smaller tracks with this new bike that I've got coming.
So what's the new bike? What style of motor and chassis?
Got a South Coast Customs train coming. It's actually Gary Sanchez's last one that he's building, and it's got an 08 R1 in it.
Now, touching on the R1, is it the cross-plane style R1 or just...
No, it's the last of the Screamers before the cross-plane come out. Totally different horsepower than what I've got at the moment, and totally different power curve as well. So I'm pretty much going to have to learn how to ride again with the new one. But with everyone's support, I'm pretty sure it won't take me too long to get a hold of it.
That brings me to my next point, is these different motors are coming in now, because things like the FZR Yamaha was a great engine in its day, and it definitely has served a long time. But the amount of work you've got to do, parts aren't really available anymore, money and all that sort of thing. It just makes better sense to go to the next progression of motor. Is that correct?
That's correct. And with the FZR that I've got, I've pretty much pushed it to the max. I can't really do much more to it. So pretty much throwing money at a dead horse, pretty much.
What's a typical week if you were to race say, for example, you had to do the drive to Gilman or something like that, what's involved in a week for that?
Well, if I was going down to Gilman, the bike will be ready and to go Wednesday. The gear and everything will be packed Wednesday. Load the trailer Thursday, start heading down Thursday night. So pretty much drive all night Thursday, rest up, drive as far as we can Thursday, rest up somewhere Friday and drive the rest of the way.
And is it one of those things where you have to go back to work on Monday, or do you plan ahead for that so you have the Monday off to try and recoup and get back into your normal life?
I try and plan ahead, but sometimes it doesn't work out like that. So there has been a time where I've had to get home for work Monday. So pretty much raced Saturday, packed up, headed straight home.
With the lower lights that aren't the best, but I do believe they are important to talk about. We went to the New South Wales titles, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and you guys got on your bike and a lot of cobwebs to be blowing out, and then that was it. You guys were on a mission. You're on fire. Things were going great. What happened to you guys in the final?
We blew a rear tire going into the corner, but we've recently found out why that happened. We run screws in the side of our rim to act as a beadlock, and what I've noticed is with the power of the bike, it started to spin, so which has made the screws on the side elongate themselves, so they're real floppy, and theirs end up just falling out, and then just rolling the tire off the rim.
What did that actually do to you physically and your sister? What ended up happening?
Well, with myself, I ended up having collarbone dramas and AC joint dramas in my shoulder and some neck dramas. But with my sister, she actually snapped the humerus bone.
Fortunately, with sidecars, we've said this a lot between different circles. They're really exciting until it does go bad, but they aren't a dangerous thing. They are a safe form of motorsport, despite what people think, because crashes aren't horrific every single meeting. Yes, there is crashes, but a lot of it is mechanical failure or rider error or track conditions, whatever. I think it is important to take note of what happened and then learn from it, like you said about the tyre.
Yes, so what we've done to try and eliminate that happening again, we've just got some thicker screws to put in there into the rim, and I've also got some adhesive spray to spray around the bead of the tyre. We're going to test that out, see if that works, and if that works, awesome. And I actually like to thank Mike Zahn for that idea, because he was the one who gave me that idea for the adhesive spray around the bead.
Yeah, and that's the cool part I find about sidecars. There's a lot of camaraderie and friendships made. And case in point, when we finished the meeting in Tamworth, the next morning I got up, the first text I sent was to you, or actually phone call to see how you were.
Yeah, the response, not only myself, but my wife Gemma, my mum and dad and my sister got that night and the next morning and a few days leading after that actually blew me away, and it actually, showed me the respect that I've actually earned in the sport. Only reason I say that is because we've had accidents in the past, and I might get a few people asking how we are and that, but we both had people from all over Australia and even overseas asking how we are. So it actually blew me away that I actually never thought I had that much respect in the Speedway world that we actually do.
We touched on your wife there for a little bit, that she's definitely in the scene and does her thing for you, but you actually had a low point in your career, and how did she help that?
Well, we're having little mechanical dramas here and there. One meeting will be fine, and the next sort of just turned to crap, and I sort of just got sick of it, and I was going to walk away, and she kind of pulled me aside and said, look, I don't want you to give up, because if you give up, you're going to regret it, and I don't want you living the rest of your life regretting something you've done. So just have a couple of months off and see if your batteries recharge and have it go out again, and if it doesn't work, then I'll support you if you want to walk away. But she wasn't going to let me. She said she'd support me, but she'd never let me walk away.
Isn't it interesting? Every person I'm interviewing at the moment has a good woman behind them, and I've met her. She's very cool, and it's really cool to see you guys are happy and things are working good on the home front, which I believe makes the racing side easier. Is that how you're finding it?
Yeah, it is actually, because with previous partners that I've had that made my life hard, which made my racing hard. So with Gemma, she knows, leading up to a meeting, especially like important ones that, I might sit there or be quiet. It doesn't mean I'm upset or anything. It's just I'm trying to get into the mind frame that I've got to be in. And she understands that, and, tells the kids to leave me alone, and she leaves me alone. And, every now and then she'll just say, I'm here, you need anything, you want anything. So.
Yeah, and I think that's fine, because it is something that is very stressful, the whole idea of a race meeting. And the coolest part about sidecars is we get our thrills quick. It's fast. The races are a lot in a night, and then the meeting's over, and then the next meeting and things like that. So moving forward from the accident at the New South Wales title, what sort of time frame are you looking to be able to compete again?
Well, it all depends on the new bike. I've told Gary, I'm in no rush for it at the moment, because I want to have some time off to get work life back under control.
Because nobody just has money given to them. It's not how life works. And if it did, I would have the biggest sidecar team in the world. But the thing about that is, I just got done talking to Mick Headland, and he has been racing 28 years, and he's finally at the stage now where he's accrued enough stuff to get there. But racing isn't his entire life. He does have a life away from that. So with your life away from racing, what are some of the things you really get into?
I like to sit back and watch the V8 supercars like everyone else. I like to take the kids down to the park and drive our RC cars and stuff like that. So a lot of just little stuff like that, like RC cars I get involved with a lot. And probably just helping the wife start up a business that she's starting up. So
it's interesting you say those sorts of things, because you're pretty much describing my life as well. We're all getting older, and we're all dads, and we've got ladies in our life that we rely on, and then we give back that support as well. So I really enjoy doing these things, because you do get to find people that have a similar interest, and then we get to go away to these weekends and have the races. So who are the people that have come into your life since racing that are people that are away from racing as well?
Oh, probably I'd have to say Darren Chalor, because he was a big part of my wedding. He was actually one of the grooms at a wedding. Adam Botham, I met him through racing, but we're mates away from racing as well. It's actually hard now. You've put me on the spot there. There's probably a few people, but a few people I'll get upset that I didn't mention them. But I've made a lot of friends and that through racing. I don't actually class them as friends. I actually class them as family. So it's actually pretty hard to answer that question.
they're just two guys having a conversation, and we just happen to be wearing Speedway Sidecar shirts.
Yeah, I don't know about your one. It's looking a bit old there, mate. You might need to update that one.
Well, the funny thing is to say that when I come back into sidecars, I put on a lot of weight because of breaking my back and that. And I looked at a photo of me commentating in Queensland. I was so fat. This shirt was spray painted on. And now I'm getting skinnier. I've actually talked a lot of junk about getting on the back as a passenger. So I actually have to go that route now and lose the weight.
Damn. I'm going to have to be there for that one. You have to let me know so I can come up and have a laugh.
Yeah, I really enjoy the banter and stuff between people. So as we're winding down with this interview, I'm rapt that it's finally happening the way we want it to, because I'd like to thank you out of this, because you've been so patient with me trying to learn this stuff off my own back. And my whole goal out of this is to get the guy down at the pub or the dad down at the park that doesn't know what a sidecar is talking. That's the goal.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I know what you're trying to do, and that's why I've been patient, and I'm happy to help wherever I can. That's what a lot of people don't know about me. I might come across as arrogant and rude and everything, but as I said earlier, I wear my heart on my sleeve. When I went to New Zealand, I actually gave away 4 of my helmets to kids in the crowd. I've given away a few helmets, and me and my sister are actually putting together in the background at the moment, getting in contact with some charities and that, and the gear that we're wearing at New South Wales titles we're actually going to sign and put up for auction and give the money to charity of our choice. Me and my sister want to give something back to charity, because she's got a charity that helped her son live when he was younger, and I've got some charities that I want to help out as well. So I kind of want to get that spotlight onto the sport, not the negative spotlight that the news put in hand the other day.
And it's infectious. The positivity, it sounds preachy in that, but it's not. If you're around positivity, it just keeps growing and growing, and who knows what could happen. If we could get another person like David Tapp, who's done so many things for the sport, that who knows, someone might come along and say, yeah, that's it, I'm pouring money into this, we're going national TV. Who knows what could happen.
Yeah, that's it. And, I'm not trying to get on TV and that, like, doing that kind of thing doesn't really bother me and shit like that. And as you know, I hate the camera on me, so it is kind of awkward for me sitting here with the camera right in my face at the moment. I can see myself on the screen. It's kind of doing my own head in, but, I know what you're trying to do for the sport, and that's why I'm happy to help out.
A lot of people go into the background of these things that either sponsor or they help, or, you've got that one fan that always comes up to the fence and whatever. So how about we run through some of those people that are sponsors, whatever?
Oh, well, I've got my beautiful wife, Gemma. She's got Gempire Beauty and Makeup Services and Illuminate Teeth Whitening. She jumped on board today as well as a sponsor. I've got Brad and Madison from Hero Cleaning Products, George and TJ from Snake Charmer Choppers and Venom Trailers, Adam and Daniel Botham from MTA Concrete Pumping, Scott Tisco from Sutto's, Brody Colin from Colin Construction. He's jumped on board to help me out a little bit. Mick Farrell from Farrell Transport, and Paul Allen from Bob's Auto and Upholstery.
Without sponsors, you just can't do what you do. So it's really cool to see that people have helped out, and even a fellow competitor. So it just shows you.
Oh, hang on. And I've also got Darren Schlaw from TRE Race Engineering, but not forgetting me, he'll kick my ass.
No big deal. Just probably the greatest sidecar racer to ever live.
Yeah, I know. I'll just leave him off the list. Sorry about that, Darren.
what would you say to someone who was hanging over the fence and goes, "Oh, I'm thinking about getting in sidecars, just don't know how, what, where, when, why"?
No, well, the thing I'd probably say is just like, if you want to be a passenger or a rider, and just ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Because a lot of the riders and passengers out there, will answer your question, no matter how silly you might think it is or how many times they've been asked the question. They'll answer it. I know I will, and I know a lot of the guys in New South Wales will.
You're watching another Speedway Sidecar interview from David McLaren, Dave of All Trades, on all social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok and YouTube. Please share these videos around. Let's help get the word out there about Speedway Sidecars, the sport that we all know and love.